Friday night knife review or comparison. Depends on whatever you want to say about this. You might ask yourself, why is there a stick sitting right here? We'll get to that in a minute. But anyhow, what we have here today is we have a Chinese knockoff of the Swiss Champ, made by Victornox. Now, quickly, I want to quickly go through the functions on these because these are somewhat identical, but very different knives. I mean, they're almost identical. I mean, like the Victornox is just a little bit wider than the freaking than the Dong Tao or whatever the hell it was called on AliExpress. It was only like a $4 knife plus like $3 for shipping. So let's just say it's an $8 knife. This one cost me $120 though. So this is one of those things of, would you rather buy it multiple times or would you rather cry once? Think about that. But anyhow, since me standing here and talking would be boring, let's go ahead and let's get out their big knife on the Victornox and a piece of paper. And is it sharp? I would say that's sharp. Of course, what more do you expect from a freaking from a company that is known for quality? Surprisingly good quality. Check the little knife out. It's not quite as sharp, but it is still sharp. So let's grab this one and plot its primary knife and get a different part of the paper and actually put myself in frame. And that's not very sharp. I mean, like, I can rub my finger across it and I'm not really worried that I'm going to get cut. Let's see if the little knife's a little better. Feels a little better. It's not much better. I could run my finger up and down that blade too and it works just fine. I don't recommend you do that. And already I'm having a problem because the one blade's in the way of the other blade, so now I have to open it up, push it out of the way, then close it. Quality control issue. By the way, there's a little thing that you can see right there by my thumb. Hopefully you're not watching this on a smartphone so you can actually see what I'm saying, because I can actually hold it up like this. This is supposed to be a screwdriver, like for your eyeglasses, but that's not a screwdriver. Focus. It's ground on one side, but not the other. Thought that was kind of interesting. This is a useless pin. And on the other one, and on the Victornox, you pull it open, you twist it out. It's a little higher quality, but you can see that it's an actual screwdriver. Hopefully that's in focus enough. Obviously, they both have corkscrews. Do I think my personal experience with corkscrews? It doesn't really matter if they're high quality or not. They're going to break off eventually. And I don't have a wine bottle that I want to open with them, so we're not demonstrating that. But on the Chinese one, you got yourself bottle opener, plus kind of a bottle opener plus a can opener that is actually probably sharper than the knives. So that's a thing. Then you got your regular bottle opener / slotted screwdriver. You got something resembling a magnifying glass. See if it'll actually magnify something. Sorry, I'm trying to hold this in frame and it's really not very easy. You can't really see anything through it. Oh well. You got your Phillips screwdriver. You got your... Both of these have pliers. They have similar tools, but these pliers are going to be crap because inside here, inside here, if it'll focus, go into macro mode, please. Thank you. There's no grip on that. There's no little grooves cut into that, so trying to grip something with that's going to be a little difficult. And it also doesn't want to close properly. Get the scissors open without breaking them. So scissors. Perfectly acceptable scissors. You gotta... I didn't want to open that up down. I opened the saw. You have a fish scaler, which there is a difference between this fish scaler and the one that's on the Victornox, of which this one only has imperial units on it. It has nothing on the other side. I've never used a fish scaler, and I've never seen a reason to use a fish scaler. Then you have a saw. The teeth are a bit far apart on this saw, but since I got the stick here, that cuts surprisingly well, actually. I'm making a giant mess too. Glad I have that piece of paper here to capture half of it. That's the saw. I didn't want to look at the saw again. I want to look at the... Oh, I just ripped my fucking thumbnail off. Pardon the language. Gonna pull out a knife from a previous video to open this up. Don't break the tip off. You have a file that's impossible to open, and it's got various different grits. It's pretty smooth and dull. It's even got a file down here, but it's pretty dull. And we've already looked at the knives, so let's flip her over. Corkscrew. I'm gonna have to open the corkscrew in order to get to this, which this right here is a little scraper pry bar slotted screwdriver. It should be sharp at the end, but it's not. And do you have to open every tool in the back of this in order to get them open? Yes, you do, apparently. That wasn't really well thought out. And right here you have, I'm not quite sure what that's supposed to be, because that's not an awl. It's just a little pointy piece. Because if I don't rip my thumbnail off, that's the awl. Is it sharp? No, the tip's kind of sharp, and I don't really have a way of demonstrating that properly, because you usually use that to pop a hole in like a leather belt or something. But the only other functionality this has is toothpick and tiny little tweezers. So that's the knockoff. And one of the biggest differences you'll notice between the knockoff and the regular one, which is kind of weird, is that well, if you have it like that, the keychains are on two different sides. Don't know why you would have a keychain on both sides, but let's go ahead and look at the Victornox. Let's start on the bottom. You got your corkscrew, you got your little scraper tool, and hold that up there, which is actually sharp. It can be used as a pry bar. God damn, I'm gonna rip my thumbnail off. Then you have another one, which I actually think this is supposed to be another small slotted screwdriver. Well, if you don't know it, it's a flathead. I call it a slotted because it's a slotted. Here's a tool that the other one does not have: a hook. That could come in very handy if you're cooking like food or something. You don't want to burn yourself on the little handle. You just go grip. And the awl, which is way easier to open than it is on the other one, which is very sharp, and I'm digging that. But as I said, the functionalities on them are very similar. Your flathead screwdriver, bottle opener, do this faster. Your can opener. Is this one sharp? Not quite as sharp as the other one, but the blade's thinner, so that could be a little bit different. You got your actual magnifying glass, which I actually did test season earlier to see if I could start like a fire with them, like start smoking, but they're way too small to do that. So all it's good for is looking at things up close. So you got that. You got a slightly weirder Phillips screwdriver head on there, if you can see it properly, because I don't have a camera with an actual focus. You got your pliers with teeth. Focus. Go into macro, but thank you. I don't know if this camera's voice activated or not. You got your scissors, which are easier to open. They feel a lot better in the hand, and I guess it would probably help if I actually had that in frame so you could see what I was doing. These scissors do feel better, but they do work just fine. Fish scaler, which right there you can kind of see it. It's an imperial and a metric. I actually kind of like that. That's kind of useful. And believe it or not, I'm actually going to carry this knife. And if you look at the saw right here, the teeth are a lot closer together. Let's see, does it cut any better? That actually cuts a lot better, and the teeth are, I don't know if this will come over on camera, the teeth are slightly frayed out so that the blade doesn't get stuck. It wasn't like that on the other one. And you got a substantial file on this one, which actually has an edge on it. The file goes all the way around. The one side's way more aggressive than the other side, which is awesome. And you have your knives. But that's a little comparison between the two. Is this an okay knife for 10 bucks? For $10 bucks? I'd say it is okay. But as I said before in the beginning of the video, do you want to buy this and risk it falling apart or breaking on you? Or would you rather cry it once and have a tool that you're going to have for the rest of your life? Whereas Oh yeah, that's right. I didn't show you a couple of the functions of this. I didn't show you the toothpick and everything. You get more substantial tweezers, a bigger toothpick, and this is one of the interesting things that I think is kind of cool. You get a pen. Oh man, I made a mess. A pen with blue ink that writes. Thought that was kind of neat. So that's the 33 functions of that one. The other one only has supposedly 30 functions. But as I said, would you rather spend $115 on a quality tool, or would you rather spend $10 on a questionable tool? And it really depends on how often you're going to use it, because believe it or not, I'm actually going to carry this because it fits in the pocket watch pocket of my pants like perfectly. And this one I'm going to use again in a future video because you've seen how dull it was, which I bought some cheapo sharpening stones off AliExpress. I'm going to see if I can put an edge on the knife, on the big knife on this one with that. So stay tuned for that. But since I've sat here and rambled for too long, let me know which knife you'd prefer to buy. But as is tradition, you're watching SpaztasticTV, and thank you for watching. Hopefully this wasn't too long.